As years go by, society has come to embrace the lesbian, gay, bisexual, and transgender group, or the LGBT community. When parents or guardians support minority groups, they often tend to spread their opinions to their children. These children tend to spread their beliefs to other children at school, enlightening them on diversity and acceptance. On the other hand, intolerant people often spawn a homophobic child who either finds enjoyment in bullying LGBT students or commits a hate crime against them. The majority of the time, these unwarranted actions unravel at school, a place where every student should feel safe. As a result, many young LGBT children grow up afraid of the world due to the negativity displayed to them by other school children. Eventually, the parents of LGBT kids fret over their child's safety, health, and well-being. They take their kids to school hoping to provide them with the proper education, not to deal with kids who won't think for themselves. Parents dread the day their child comes home after being bullied in school. Because of previous experiences, parents know how far hateful people are willing to go when they meet an indifference of lifestyle. Parents don't know how to counsel their children, and the children knows only to withdraw. America has guaranteed rights to all, and schools serve as an arm of the government to nurture those rights. While not much can be done about those home situations, schools can take initiative to ensure the safety and preservation of their students in school. Everyone knows that for a person, the adolescent years are the most important. In those years, we learn everything about how to think and function properly. It is where we find our voices, and it's ultimately where the years we start to develop a thought on what is right and wrong. Therefore, it is imperative that children are taught at a young age of what homosexuality is. While every adult may have a clear, obvious idea of what homosexuality is, it is also imperative that the teachings of homosexuality do not come from a person who would have reason to be biased or give out defamatory remarks about the whole situation. With that being said, the education of homosexuality should not be in the hands of parents, grandparents, siblings, pastors, or friends. Just like we treat normal education, we should leave the teachings of homosexuality in the hands of highly educated people who specialize in these certain studies. Of course, with this solution being put forth, schools would have to hire a whole new category of teachers for the children. These teachers would have to pass certain tests that are issued by the state of Texas to ensure that the children are receiving a quality, unbiased education. Along with these requirements, the teacher-to-be would also need to meet standards that other teachers in the school district are held at. Though the hiring process of these teachers is important, the material that the instructor will be passing out is equally as important. Because the children are young and more than likely immature, the only material that would be passed on to them would be the actual definition of homosexuality and how to respect it. This enables children to be aware of the fact that some people live different lifestyles. In doing this, the children may even come to adopt homosexuality as something normal because it is being taught in school. What better way to teach that homosexuality is something of everyday life than to introduce it to children at a young age? It allows for them to process this whole new idea through their heads while they are also developing an idea of how to properly think of others. These classes may even come out to help a scared and confused child that hasn't yet found him or herself. It could serve as a safe place for growing up LGBT children to give them advice and love. Additionally, this may also help with teaching kids on how to respect people of the LGBT community in the future. Kids tend to be more nice towards certain ideas that are introduced to them. Knocking out two birds with one stone in this case would be beyond terrific, as it would speed up the acceptance process. Now that the child is grown up and able to handle certain topics with some maturity, the next step would then be to go deep into the aspects of LGBT community. These aspects would include teaching the students about LGBT culture, how people are born this way, certain mental defects that are posed to gay people, such as GID, gender identity disorder, or gender dysphoria, which is classified as a child having a marked incongruence between the gender they have been assigned to at birth and their experienced expressed gender. History on the LGBT community and all the many dangers that the community is faced with daily, both sexually and socially. These courses would be provided as a health education class focused on bringing even more insight to the community and introducing different types of hate crimes that are performed against this community, which a hate crime is also defined as a crime motivated, at least in part, by an offender's bias against the victim's race, religion, nationality, sexual orientation, or disability status. Because of the past courses that these students once took as kids, they might be more accepting of high school courses to take. They wouldn't be completely thrown off guard because the information isn't all that new. It would simply just be brought back up. However, now that the students are stable enough for self-thought and understanding, instructors can now dive into a whole new creative way of lessons and projects. Not only does this make the class much more informative, but it makes the class that much more fun. Of course, before schools can even consider wanting to hire teachers that specialize in this field of study, the school board, along with the board of trustees, would have to approve of the passing of these classes to be held. They control all of the classes that are provided in our curriculum, so therefore, schools would need their permission. The teaching of this subject in schools would allow for a multitude of students to have great knowledge of what consists of being a part of the LGBT community. The false narrative that this is merely a choice and nothing more than a phase would soon subside. Along with having an educated public, more people would feel more comfortable with coming out as gay, lesbian, bi, or transgender. A more comfortable LGBT youth in school would mean that others are coming together to accept them as they are. This would prevent current and future worry for the parents of LGBT kids and stop all forms of bullying altogether. Parents would finally have the luxury of knowing that their child's safe in a world that finally accepts them. While we would all love to believe that the world is a kind place for people of all types of backgrounds, too many children and adults live their lives in fear for a reason that should be seen as normal. Though it is unfortunate that the minds of many can't be changed, success is still not lost. With enough love and dedication, we can still work together to improve the lives of tomorrow, one class period at a time. Thank you so much.